goodness, I think this is going to speak really well with what you've placed upon my heart. But if you don't mind joining with me and praying that the Lord just has his way. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for another day, God. Thank you for allowing us to come here and just engage into worship and learn more about who you are, God. I pray that your heavens will just pour down upon this place. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Calm my nerves, and everything that comes out of my mouth, Lord, let it be straight from your throne room. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so as some of y'all know, I have an older sister and I have a younger brother. And my sister and I are 2 years apart, and so we had a lot of life before my little brother came. My little brother is 6 years younger than me, 8 years younger than my sister. But I will just say, until he came into this world, I was always known as the trusting, I don't want to say gullible, but trusting sister. And my sister was the mastermind, and she came up with these great ideas, okay? So if I wanted her to play with me, I had to do whatever she wanted to do. And I was the guinea pig. So, I tell people this, but I'm not joking when I say this. I'm really shocked that I'm alive because I literally have brushed the doorstep of death many times in my life, but I know the Lord has a plan for me. So I'm 22 going on 23, so I know he's got something. But anyways, so my sister, I was probably 5 years old, and she was 7. And like I said, she came up with these awesome ideas. She had a way with her words that just made it sound like, oh my goodness, we have to do it. And so anyways, we were in our playroom. And our playroom had about 3 steps going down, but they were brick steps. And it was a hot summer day. But my sister said, hey, Aubri. I was like, yeah? She was like, I got an idea. I was like, okay, what is it? And she said, how about we go ice skating? I was like, ice skating? I was like, it's really hot. How are we going to go ice skating? She was like, just stay here. I'll be right back. I was like, okay. So she runs to the freezer, and she gathers as much ice as possible that she can fully carry. I think she stuffed some in her shirt. She couldn't find a bucket, so she just got out all of the ice that she could carry and brought it to us. Or to me. And so she started laying all the ice down on the steps, okay? The brick steps. So, anyways, she was like, Aubri, now the brick is frozen. All you have to do is take off your socks and shoes and just start gliding. And it's gonna be fun. I was like, my mindset was like, ooh, how she's saying it could be really fun, but that could be not so much as well, you know? And she was like, Aubri, how about you go first? I was like, okay, sounds good. So remember, I was 5 years old, very trusting, and I loved my sister. She loved me, so she wasn't trying to be mean. That was not her mindset. But anyways, I took off my socks and shoes, and so I started on the first step. I glided, and I really glided. And on the edge, like the corner of the step, I slow motion fall, and my head gouges the corner of the step. And my sister, I don't even know what really happened, but my sister starts screaming, I remember. And I remember, I'm like, oh, what are you screaming about? And I realized that my head's stuck. And I have to lift up my head off of this brick. And I realized that there's blood. Anybody that the staff knows, I'm not good with blood, okay? So anyways, I see blood and I scream even more. But I knew that my mama, once she saw this, she was going to rush me to the hospital, and that was not okay with me. So I ran and hid, okay? But basically, there's still a scar on my head about 1 inch to 2 inch long, and it didn't grow hair. But thankfully, I have enough hair to cover it up. But I have many scars on my body thanks to my sister. It seemed like a good idea, but it actually wasn't. So that leads me to the story of what I'm going to talk to you about today. My title today is called Dominion's Potential. I know that could be a play on words, but for the kids, I'd like to break down certain words for the kids to understand. So, dominion, it means sovereign authority or complete control over something. And potential is what you could become versus what you are now. And so I started thinking about this, and I felt like the Lord was placing this upon my heart, is God created us. If we look back at Adam and Eve, God created us with dominion. He said that we would have dominion over this earth, over the creatures of this earth, and that he placed that inside of us. So each and every one of us were born with dominion. Spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical dominion. But a lot of people will allow the dominion to stay dormant the rest of their life. They never tap into that. Why is that? You know, I've questioned myself so many times. Why is it so easy to be fearful of the unknown? Granted, we've never experienced that, so we don't know what's actually going to happen. Or it takes us to, we just start getting fearful of what could happen. So a verse that I really enjoy and speaks so much to me, it's found in Jeremiah 1:4. It says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my spokesman to the world. And that speaks to all of us. We might not be called to stand behind a pulpit every Sunday morning, but we're called to be somewhere, working at our businesses or something. We have the ability to be that spokesman and be all that we were created to do. My story is found in Judges 13 through 16. It is about Samson. Okay, many of us, I think maybe even all of us, even if we were raised in church, not raised in church, we've heard of the story of Samson. But just bear with me. Yes, this is a children's sermon, but yet I've been praying, Lord, let it reach every generation that's here. Beginning of Samson's story was there was an angel of the Lord that came to Samson's mama and said, hey, even though you've not been able to have kids, I'm going to bless you with a son. But while you're pregnant, you cannot drink any alcoholic beverages. You cannot eat any unclean food. And when he is born, he has to abide by these rules as well. And you cannot cut his hair. You will dedicate him to me. Okay? So as Samson starts growing up, the Lord said, it says in the Bible that the Lord took hold of Samson in his life. So one day, Samson and his parents were walking to a city, and Samson, I guess, was a little ahead or a little behind his parents, and a young lion came and tried to attack Samson. Well, God blessed Samson with incredible physical strength that Samson, with ease, was able to break the jaw of the lion. And I was looking up the lions and when's their strongest point in life, and they said when it's a young lion. So I could only imagine that crazy war scene of Samson and the lion. Well, it said eventually Samson went to that town, and he came back, and he just wanted to check on the lion to see like what it looked like. I guess he's a boy, so he wanted to see what it looked like. And so anyways, he saw that the lion's carcass was only left, and he saw that honey or bees started making honeycomb in the carcass. Well, he decided I was hungry, so he took it and ate it and gave some to his family. But as a Nazirite, he was not allowed to eat unclean food. So there's sin right there for you. But a lot of people didn't know this. It was underneath sin. Then Samson later on became infatuated with a Philistine woman. Okay? That's something that he was not supposed to do. He was not supposed to fall for the enemy's women. He was supposed to marry inside of his Nazirite religion and people. But he decided, he was like, hey, Mom, Dad, I see that woman. I want her. She's going to be my wife. Well, he eventually marries her, but she betrays his confidence and leads him astray. And because of this, Samson, he tried to tell a little riddle during the marriage or to some friends, but they figured out the riddle because his wife betrayed him, and because of that, he killed 30 men right there. Then, because Samson had a very bad temper, he let go some foxes because he found out his wife was given to another man, his best man in marriage. So he gathered 300 foxes and he paired them up and tied a burning torch that burned all of the wheat fields, all of the olive gardens of the Philistines. So the Philistines got mad and decided, hey, you know what, since you did this, we're going to kill your wife and we're going to kill her father. So there you go. And so once again, he got mad. So the Philistines tried to capture Samson. Nobody could ever capture Samson, but he was like, you know what, you can take me right now. And he gave in to them, and he was able to break free because, once again, he got mad. And he saw a donkey jawbone on the ground, and he decided to kill 1,000 men with just a donkey jawbone. Okay, you don't ever hear that. So it still gets me even today that a man, just one single man, was able to kill 1,000 men with just a donkey jawbone. Then Samson journeyed to a town or a city called Gaza, and one of the Philistine stronghold cities. And there he found a prostitute that, once again, another weakness for Samson, and he slept with her. And with that, the townspeople heard that he was in town, and they tried to capture him. So they surrounded the house that he was at, and they surrounded the city, and they said, by this time, we're going to capture him, and we're going to kill him this time. Well, Samson found out. He broke through and escaped out of there, and he went to the gates of that city and literally lifted the gates out of the ground and walked it over to up a hill. Okay, and then it says Samson went to another city, found another woman. Okay, 3 women already. Another weakness, another sin. And this woman was still not a Nazirite. So he started falling in love with her. Her name was Delilah. Delilah was the only one that was able to really capture Samson. And she was like, Samson, please, 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 I know that I heard that you have this secret strength. Please tell me the secret to it. And the Philistines told Delilah, if you find out the secret to his strength, we will give you 1,100 pieces of silver each. So that's a lot of money. So she was like, okay, I can do this. So 3 different times she asks Samson. Samson tricks her. And after the 3rd time around, he finally gives in after her nagging. And he finds out that he wakes up after the nap. His hair was cut and his eyes were gouged out. And they had imprisoned him. But to me, when I was reading this, his hair was just an outward appearance of something that was actually going on inside. So everybody knew that he was a Nazirite, and everybody knew that he wasn't allowed to cut his hair. But since he had his hair cut, they saw him, they were like, you're a man of sin. And so all the things that he had done behind doors, behind the scene, nobody knew about, it was actually starting to come to the surface. So anyways, he's getting imprisoned. He's imprisoned. He is now pushing a little wheel that they had created for him. And so anyways, his hair starts growing back, and they were at the temple of the enemy, which is the Philistines' temple, and they were worshiping their God and stuff. And they said that in this temple there was 3,000 plus people, 3,000 on the rooftop. And they said, hey, bring out Samson to entertain us. And so by that time, Samson's hair was starting to grow back. Doesn't mean that there's power in the hair, but there was power in the God that was over him. And so anyways, at that time, Samson prayed, Lord, I know I've done wrong, but if you can empower me one more time, Lord, and just give me the strength to, when I put my hands on these pillars, that I can push them out and I can destroy this enemy. Please allow me to do this. And so he asked the servant that was bringing him out to put his hands on the pillars, and he pressed with all his strength because God empowered him at that time. And he was able to destroy the temple, destroy the god or the god idol that was there. He was able to destroy that and all that was in there. All right, so at that time, with all the people that he had killed throughout his life, that was the one, out of the 20 years, he was the judge over Israel, because that's what God intended for him to do, was be the ultimate judge over Israel and to rescue Israel from the Philistines. So he was able to kill more people than he had ever done in his lifetime. Samson had incredible strength, physical strength. God had blessed him with that. But also, we got to realize that God empowers us, and he created us with such a purpose. And we might not have physical strength, but we have something to give, something to be used with. We got to also realize that there will be many Delilahs in our life. It might not just be a person, but it could be a person. It could be money. It could be somebody speaking something negative over our life and we start believing it. It could be many different things. But Delilah, if we think about it, many different people throughout Samson's life, thousands of people were trying to destroy Samson. But Delilah was the only person, for some reason, she was the only person that had a huge effect on Samson's life and almost completely destroyed who he was. There will be many dream killers out there. I know for me personally, I've had even pastors' wives come tell me, because I still want to go to school. Yes, I have a degree, but I want to continue on schooling. But I've had pastors' wives tell me, Aubri, you have a lack of faith because you want to go do another, get another degree in something else besides ministry, because that's what you're called to, is ministry. And that kind of broke my heart, because a pastor's wife, a leader at that time frame, was telling me, Aubri, basically a dream that God placed on your life is wrong, you know? And a lot of people do that, and I just cringe at the fact of hearing that. But I truly believe without a doubt that the Lord, even looking at Samson's life, my life, y'all's life, God arranges things or he allows things, one or the other. If he allows certain things, that doesn't mean he's against you. It might be that he's testing you with something, or it might be he wants to see how you're going to react when you're put in this position. It might be that he is going to use you to bless somebody else in the future. You never know why he does that. That allows Satan to come in, and sometimes we allow him to have wide open doors to come into our lives and completely destroy us, like he used Delilah to completely destroy Samson. When I was younger, even now, I have dreams. And like literally when I'm sleeping, I have dreams, but the Lord speaks to me so much in my dreams. And I've had dreams in my life many times where I'll dream something, but like a couple of days later, it actually comes true. And I've told people, like, I try not to tell everybody, hey, I know your business, or hey, this is about to happen, so just be prepared, because that really scares people. But I start praying. But when I was younger, I was fearful, so held in bondage by storms. It might have been like a fist-sized cloud that was gray, and it would be torturous to me. I would literally squeal, and I would shake, and people would try to hold me down and just say, Aubri, it's okay, it's okay. It's like, no, it's coming. We're going to be destroyed. Something's going to happen. And anyways, my parents have always taught me, Aubri, be bold when fear comes. Even as a little girl, when fear comes, you stand your ground and you do not back down. And so anyways, I remember so clearly, even to this day, that I had a dream one time, and I was in one of my houses, and I was in my bathroom, and it was on the second floor, and I looked out into my yard, and our yard was fenced in. And so anyways, I saw all of these hundreds and hundreds of tornadoes coming our direction. And I was screaming. I couldn't find my family. And I was like, Lord, please help me. But I remembered my mom and my dad said, Aubri, remember, speak to it, because God gives you the authority. Do not back down to it. So I prayed against that. I was like, you're coming, but you will not touch us in the name of Jesus. And I was 10 years old at this time. And when the storm started coming, all of them came to the edge of our property, and they split. And nothing, I looked at the trees and everything. None of the trees were blowing in our yard. Nothing was happening, but everything around us was getting destroyed. Why I say that dream is because there's so much authority in who we are. God gave us, like I said earlier on, He's given us dominion over the things of this world and out of this world. And we need to rise up to be the people that God created us to be. Because God, He talks about many times in the Bible that there's going to be a remnant of people. But so many times, people are like, yeah, I'm part of the remnant. But when an issue comes, where's the remnant now? You know? Don't allow the fears and stuff to hold you back. Mr. Gill, can you pull up that picture right quick? I have a picture. Yes, kids, I know you're going to know this because we talked about this. But, like I told you before, I got something on you that you don't know. So just listen up, okay? So this tree right here is called the bonsai tree. I tried my best to go around town and find a bonsai tree. It's actually called a bonsai tree, bonsai tree. I could not find them. Everywhere I looked, people looked at me as though I was crazy. I was like, okay, well, it's really a tree. Believe me, Google it, you'll find it. But anyways, I have this picture, and I think one of the reasons why me and Mr. Bobby get along so much is because we love nature. We always talk about trees, something animal-like. We even talked about an albino squirrel this morning, okay? We always talk about nature. But anyways, this tree, a lot of people don't realize that if you would just allow this tree to grow in the woods, it'd become as big as any other tree. But most people think that this tree is miniature size. Why do we believe that? Because they never allowed one to actually grow. You know, we put it in a pot because it's a beautiful tree and we can use it as decorations and stuff. It's actually originated from Japan. But anyways, what we don't realize is when we put it in a pot, it stunts the growth of the tree, stunts the roots. And also, all of these trees are so different because these trees were created for whoever's nurturing the plant. They'll snip away certain types of, or certain branches of the tree, and they will guide it along to being whatever kind of tree they want or whatever they want it to look like. So just as our fingerprints, none of us, even if we're identical twins, people that's lived before, people that will live in the future, will never have the same fingerprints. Same for this tree. But this reminds me a lot of our lives, you know? So many times, we allow certain things to come in, basically put us in a pot, and stunt our growth. What Holly was saying today, it was so perfect, was that God is so great. He's so powerful. He's on so many different levels. And I feel like so many times, as deep as we think we go, it's like we only go surface level of who he truly is, his love for us. And so many times we allow, just like this tree, and everybody thinks it's a miniature tree, but we will never see the full potential of this tree or what it could have been. And I stand here today. I know God brought me here for a reason. I think I'm still learning why the Lord brought me here as a children's pastor. But every Sunday, I am blessed with the opportunity and humbled with the opportunity of standing before your children and being able to pour into them. And sometimes I don't even know if what I'm pouring into them even gets to them, but I know that the word says the word will not return void. And that I've got to trust that my prayers have been deposited, and that whatever I speak that the Lord's gonna use. And so I stand here before you, partnering up with you as parents, as adults, as grandparents with these children, to rise them up and being everything that they can be. And I even talk to you parents and grandparents. No matter the age, you can always start somewhere, somehow, sometime, and be everything that God's called you to be. When I was younger, my parents always gave me analogies so I could understand things. I'm a visual person, and I just needed to understand. So my dad's a builder, or he's been a builder for a little while. My dad can do anything and everything. I think he is Superman even to this day. I really do. I asked my dad, "Hey, Dad, can you help me with this?" "Oh, yeah, I can help you." He's never been taught this thing. It's just been a God-given talent. But one of the things that he gave me this analogy when I was little is that him and my mom are our foundation, are my sister and I and my brother's foundation. You know, when you're building, builders might understand what I'm talking about, but say you're building a basement, a regular or a main floor, and then a top floor. Well, the basement, you've got to dig, you've got to stir up that ground a little bit so you can dig as far as to the ground where you hit solid ground, and that when you start building, it's not going to shake. Okay, so my dad said, he was like, we're that foundation. We've already stirred up the ground. We've already poured down that cement to give you a solid foundation. And we're building up those walls. And we keep pushing you up. You're not going to stay on the bottom. We're pushing you up to the rooftop. And I was like, Dad, why would you push me out to the rooftop? I want to be in the house with you. And he was like, no, Aubri. Because if I don't build you a solid foundation and push you to the rooftop, how in the world are you going to be everything that you're created to be? How are you? I would limit you if I allowed you to stay in the house with me. One day you're going to have the opportunity of being somebody's foundation and pushing them everything, or being everything that they could be in this world. And that's my analogy I say for the kids is, right now I don't have any kids. Yes, one day I want to be blessed with kids, but right now your kids are my kids. Right now I take responsibility and I take ownership. I'm like, my kids, you know. But I have the opportunity of building a solid foundation for them and pushing them to the rooftop to being everything that they can be. My little brother, not so little anymore, I love that boy with all my heart, and I feel like he's grown up with basically three mothers, my mama, me, and my sister. And he's going to be an awesome husband one day with all that we've pushed inside of him. But even to this day, he's a junior in high school, about to be a senior. But anyways, I will still text him And it might be things that I texted him when he was younger, but I speak life into him, and I said, Ethan, you are a man of integrity. You are a man of authority. You are a man of honor. You are a man of strength and power. You are a man of this and that and this. And yes, he can even recite some back to me because he knows what I'm going to say. But I'm speaking this into him. Even though he might not see this already, this is what he's going to be. And I refuse for anything less for him. And I do the same with your kids. Sometimes, I have them recite certain things with me because I want that to get in their head. I want that to get in their heart. And I want them to know that there's nothing that can hold them down from being everything that God created them to be. Noah and Carson, can you join me up here right quick? I'm about to end with this, okay? This, with everything that I've said today, I hope this speaks a lot to you as well. Okay, so this Bible verse that I'm about to read to you, and then I'm going to dissect it for you. It says, it's in Psalms 23, 4 through 6. It says, even when I walk through the darkest valleys, I will not be afraid, for you are so close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect me and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in front of my enemies. That gives me every time. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and your unfailing love, or in some versions it says mercy, will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Okay? Gentlemen, remember, follow me wherever I go. This is goodness. This is love or mercy. So, building a foundation for your children, building a foundation for you right now. Teenagers, I'm even talking to you. There's people that's coming up behind you. And whatever you do, little eyes are watching. Parents, I talk to you the same. Grandparents, y'all aren't too old for this. But wherever I go, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So because you built a foundation for your children, they're going to realize, even when fear and stuff tries to trample on them, that there's such a foundation in their life that nothing's going to break them. But yet love and mercy is going to follow them all the days of their life, and they're going to come back to the Lord, and they're going to be the foundation and the rooftop for somebody else. Realize this. I'm so excited that love and mercy, so whatever I do, whatever I've done, it still follows me. Thank you, boys. I appreciate it. It still follows me. So no matter, like I said, no matter the age, there's people coming up behind you. There's people before you. And it's never too late to start. But remember that we think of Adam and Eve. When Satan comes and takes control over them, their mindset, and they take of that forbidden fruit that God said, you can eat and you can take of anything, but this one tree, do not take of its fruit. That's all I say. That's the only rule. Do not do that, and we'll be good. God walked along. His presence was there. Yes, his presence is here, but they had that intimacy with the Lord, and they lived in a perfect world without sin. And then they allowed Satan to creep in. They allowed Delilahs to creep in and take dominion over their life. They handed their dominion. And when God said, I know when I was looking up that they used fig leaves to cover up when they realized that they sinned. They realized that they had broken the sweet covenant with the Lord. And fig trees, in many different places in the Bible is used as a cursed plant, and it's used as shame. So even in Matthew, when Matthew, God cursed the fig plant because it wasn't bearing enough fruit or any fruit. God cursed it. Well, in Adam and Eve time, that was a sign of shame because they defiled God and they allowed something that was so precious to be taken away from them, the dominion that God had given them in each and every one of us. I have a simple altar call today. I have prayed over this a lot since I heard that I had the opportunity of speaking to y'all. My simple call to you is, yes, there's things that are here in your life. I mean, I feel like when you are in the will of the Lord, all hell breaks loose. Since I've been here, I mean, literally all hell has broken loose with my family, with friends, with all sorts of things. My car broke down just the other night. Thankfully, some men in the town helped me, but I'm at a point where I just laugh because I'm just like, okay, something else. And that's not welcoming Satan saying, what else can you bring? No, that's just saying, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be here. And I know because I'm in the will of God that you're going to try to throw things my direction and get me off track and distract me from doing everything that I'm supposed to do for you, Lord. So my challenge to you is that I pray that something that I said, yes, it was a children's message, but yet at the same time, I pray that it touched your heart in some way. But God has created each and every one of us with great purpose, and with that great purpose, He equipped us with everything we need. So many times, we allow things to come in our lives and try to distract us from our ultimate purpose and steal our dominion. And it might seem like a good idea, like me going ice skating seemed like a really good idea at the time, but ultimately it brings destruction. So my challenge today to you is, if you have allowed something or someone to take away your dominion and great potential of what you were meant for and created to do on this earth, come meet the Lord down at the altar, just you and Him, and regain that dominion and regain what God has created you to be, and that person, that woman of God, that man of God. And don't allow anything else to come in between what you are created for.